Hello, it is Erin Floto here, and I am here with another 10 types video. These are my favorite videos to make, although it really depends on how my creative juices are flowing. And I struggle with this one a little bit, even though I have recently bought my home. But I am doing 10 types of home buying spreads. If there are other 10 types videos that you want me to do, I've done finance trackers, mood trackers, things like that, annual collections. If there's anything that you want me to cover, because this one specifically was a request made by someone in the comments, let me know in the comments down below what 10 types video you would like me to cover. So the first one is kind of the crux of everything when you are trying to buy a home is figuring out what you like. So I put together a preference list. So um, these are just general ideas of preferences that you may have. Obviously, you will have a price range and budget. Um, I typically would suggest doing a budget lower than your max. That way, if you do find something that you're in love with, you're more willing to go, 20, 30,000 over your budget. But just a general price range, where you are looking to buy your home. For me, it was Hudson Valley. Not all these things are things that I was looking for, but this is just a random list I put together. The size home that you are looking for. So if you have a maximum number of bedrooms, of bathrooms, what your kind of square footage is looking like. Then a list of your must-haves and deal breakers. So there are certain things that if that home doesn't have said thing, that it is a deal breaker for you. I'm not talking about things that you really, really want. I'm saying like if it doesn't have it, you walk away immediately and you're like, that's not the house for me. Um, for example, I know some people will say like a fenced in yard because, for example, I have dogs, and when I don't have a fenced in yard, because my dogs are fine on cables, but if I move in day one and my dog is not okay on a cable, then they need a fenced in yard almost immediately because getting it installed could take, depending on the time of year, um weeks to months. So maybe that is not something that is okay for you. Being turnkey, if you have small kids and you don't want to go through renovations, turnkey is a must have. Driveway, if there's um not reliable street parking, maybe a driveway is very important to you. um Office space, if you are working from home, things like that. So things that are big ass deal breakers for you. And then a list of want but not need. So these are things that would be extra, that would be of interest to you. um, for example, I know one thing that I've always wanted is a kitchen island. It's not something I have now. It's not something that I've ever had. But I would love a kitchen island one day. But I've lived without it all this time, so I know I can. The style of home that you want, for example, my knees are not very good. Um, I can do multi-level homes, but the style that I really typically like is a ranch because my knees like that a lot better. But I lived in a two-story house with a downstairs basement prior to the house I live in now, so I know I can do it. But these are just general styles that I would like. Mortgage information. I know it's not 7.5% interest right now. I think it's around like 5 or 6% interest. When I was buying my home, it was not this high, but the company that you're doing your mortgage with, mortgage rates currently, what the general cost is of your mortgage per month, and what costs you are pre-approved of for your purchase price. And then real estate agencies that are in the area or that you would want to work with. So that's a general preference list. The second one I have is a house info sheet. So this is something that for every house you visit, maybe this is something that you would want to fill out. So the basics of what the house is, where it is, price, year built, bedrooms, bathrooms, how long it would take to get to work. For me, if there's mass transit, because I get a mass transit subsidy going down into the city for work. So I need to be able to access mass transit, school districts, ratings, what your mortgage cost would be. And then I have a section for what is my first impression. So based on the outside, maybe the curb appeal is amazing and you absolutely love the house. And then you get inside and you're like, not my favorite. Or the outside needs some work, but you go inside and you're like, oh, this is perfect. Maybe it's perfect both. But having an outside first impression and an inside first impression. And then a love it slash hate it list. I do also have, so I have a hate column, an okay column, and a love column. You could also add a different scale, level 1 to 5, things that I dislike versus like. So things that you can change, obviously, are if you hate it, you hate it, but it's easy to change. For example, paint. Your paint color can change, it's fine. Where the wall placement is, would be a little bit more difficult because you would have to hire a contractor to work with for that. So just a general list of features in the house, whether you hate it, whether it's satisfactory, or whether you love it. Number 3 is a finance sheet. So for the address, what the rooms are, square footage, and then these are all of the cost related items. So list price, purchase price, what your loan is for, because typically your loan will be more because of the percent of the percent interest. The length, so 15 to 30 years is usually the length of time that you will have the loan, what your down payment is, the percentage of down payment to your actual monthly costs, interest rate, monthly payment, closing costs, insurance, taxes, percentage of monthly budget. So just ideas for things that you have to think about finance wise. Number 4 is a really easy one. It's Zillow filters. So maybe you found some filters that you like, but you keep turning some things on, turning some things off. So here's just a general list of things that you want to toggle on and off, what your price points are, things like that. Number 5 is a buyer cost worksheet. So you have your sale price, your down payment amount, how much it's financed for. And then here are all of the fees that are associated with a buyer to purchase a house. Moving on to number 6 is inspection outcomes. So when you are purchasing a house, you have to do an inspection. Sometimes based on that inspection, you are allowed to walk away because it is not up to snuff for what they're trying to sell at. If it's a competitive market, you don't have as much room to work with a seller. But if it is not as a competitive market, sometimes you can get your seller to do certain fixes before you move in. For example, there was mold in my attic, so the seller fixed that prior to me moving in. But some things you need to fix immediately. So what the project is, what the budget of that is, and what the actual is. So sometimes you have to sell as is, and then you are subject to those costs. And those costs are important because you need to know if that's going to make you walk away or not. And then it can wait fixes. For example, my inspection said, oh, you should probably paint the exterior of the house for the longevity of the house, but it can wait a year or two. So that is on my list for spring. And so that's a project that I have upcoming, but it could wait. I had basically a year and a half from when I purchased the house to when I kind of need to get that done. Number 7 is a rating system. So you have the address, general comments, and this is just a way of comparing and contrasting between the homes and having like a very simplistic view of what's out, what is a maybe, and what is something that you love. For example, 12, it's all right. It fits my needs, it's in my price, but something is missing and I can't put my finger on it. So those are type of comments that are really helpful because it's like there's just something that is not for me in this house. But is this something that I could live with short term and look for a house later when the market may be better? Who knows? 111 Lovett Lane. Love everything, but it's 30K over my budget. So, is that something I'm willing to deal with? Can I find financing for that? All that kind of stuff. So a no, never, like it, but not love it, and then a love it rating system. So you can compare and contrast easily with some general comments to the side. Number 8 is new home shopping. So when you move homes, say you're moving from a rental and you don't have furniture, maybe your last apartment had furniture in it. So just a general idea of, okay, based on this room, these are all the furniture items that I need to buy. Based on the bath, this is what I need to buy. Based on the bedroom, this is what I need to buy, and kind of working your way through. That way you can start pricing things out, and that will help you when it comes to your costs, your down payments, things like that, what you can afford. When I moved in here, I didn't have everything because some stuff was left at the old home, and a lot of stuff I brought, but a lot of stuff that I had to buy when I got here. For example, my sofa. So based on your down payment amount, you can kind of figure out, okay, well, this is how much money I have left to buy other things that I need in my home. And maybe you start small and work your way up. That's what I did. Number 9 is the home buying process. So this is just a general one that you can kind of cross off as you reach each milestone of the home buying process. So you go from creating your goals to getting pre-approved to hiring an agent to searching for a home to doing offers and negotiating with the sellers, to accepting the offer, to talking to your mortgage lender, going through that process, getting the home appraised, getting a home inspection, reviewing the inspection reports. Again, that's one of those walkaway moments that you can have, getting your insurance policy, you're scheduling the closing and your final walkthrough, and then having the actual closing, and then your time to move. And then the last one I have is the most fun, at least in my opinion. It's the mood board. This is just a general layout, but I will put on my screen some of the things that I was doing when I was trying to figure out um, what I wanted to put in my home. And that is kind of the most fun part of the process is imagining what you can buy and coming up with color schemes and doing all that kind of stuff. I loved Canva for this, so I will go ahead and show some of my boards. And I did it based on rooms. The living room had a specific mood board versus my bedroom that had a different mood board. So those are 10 types of home buying spreads for your bullet journal. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you love this video, and I will see you next time for another 10 types video. Again, please let me know in the comments down below if you have any suggestions for this series. And I will see you next time. Bye, everyone.